you very much. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you all the officers that were introduced, and thank you all that are here that are working in the trenches for the next 38 days. I'd like to really repeat some very specific thanks that I think are important to emphasize today. First of all, there's no way we could have done what we've done as a party without the historically long service and the specifically effective service this time around of the Vice Chairman Wayne McDonald. And Wayne, I want you to know how much we appreciate that. And then I'd like to thank the dirty half dozen that make me look good every day, the folks that you keep contact with in the state headquarters here in Concord: Andy, BJ, Ryan, Tom, Katie, and Simon. So let's give them all our thanks. You know, we started here about 20 months ago in a convention. And in that 20 months, a lot of things that have really happened. I don't know if you recall that at that time, the collection of paper that arrives in the mail that people call news magazines had as their front cover topics the demise of the Republican Party in America. As usual, they were wrong. The people of America have taken a look at what is going on in this country for the last 20 months. The people of New Hampshire have taken a look at what has gone on in this state for the last 4 to 6 years. Neither the collection of good citizens here nor the good citizens across the country feel comfortable, feel good, feel confident, feel in any way at all that we have government at the national level or the state level meeting our needs. They are angry, they are livid, they are ready to vote, and now, all of a sudden, we as a party have a responsibility. We must deliver to those who care about our country and who care about our state the extra effort over the next 38 days to make sure that November 2010 is the real election of change. Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Harry Reid are bankrupting America, and the public knows it. John Lynch and the radical leadership of the Democrats in the House and Senate are ruining New Hampshire. And the citizens of New Hampshire know it, and we are going to change both at the national level and the state level. At the national level, the irresponsible spending is shocking everybody. Even liberal Democrats will whisper over coffee that they don't understand how we can sustain this irresponsible level of spending. It's amazing that the President and the leaders of Congress don't understand what they are doing to our children and our grandchildren. But even beyond that, we have an administration in Washington led by President Obama that is reproducing around the world an absolute loss of respect for our country. It started with his apology tour a month or so after he took office. And what has happened since then is that he has turned our backs on allies. He has surprised those who support our historic policies. And he has created a doubt in the mind of citizens across the world that our nation would be responsive, as it has historically been, to real needs as they occur around the globe. President Obama appears to be more concerned about self-adulation than he does about retaining respect for America, and that is going to change in 2012. There's an old saying that if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, it must be a duck. Well, let me remind you that that's easily extrapolated to if it looks like a one-term president and walks like a one-term president, it's got to be a one-term president. But that won't happen if we don't put the extra effort in 2010. It's amazing where you all have brought this state. It's amazing where your friends and neighbors across the country have brought this country. The liberal press is paranoid. The liberal Congress is frightened. And the liberal president and the liberal governor are both confused. All you have to do is turn on TV. We know exactly what's going on around the country, and we are cheering for our friends who are working so hard. But let's talk a little bit about what's happening here in New Hampshire. We have had 4 to 6 years of absolutely irresponsible governance by a governor and a legislature who have no idea what New Hampshire means, what traditions of the state are, and what has made us so special and different. They have no respect for fiscal responsibility. They have no respect for discipline in budgeting. They don't care about local control. They are as arrogant as the federal government has been, and our message to them is pack your bags, you're on your way, you'll be out in November. They came back in the session to address a deficit. And what did they do? They spent their time scheming and plotting on how to do smoke and mirrors accounting to lie to the voters of New Hampshire and pretend that they addressed a fiscal crisis. We have an almost $800 million deficit, and they don't know, they don't care, and they are misrepresenting reality, and they will be made accountable for that. They added or raised over 100 taxes and fees. 100 taxes and fees in the state of New Hampshire in 4 years. It's ridiculous. They have no sense at all. No sense of shame, no sense of responsibility, no sense of understanding. I find it amazing that they have the gall to go around to editorial boards and pretend that there is a balance in the budget. There is not a single responsible analyst that doesn't acknowledge the magnitude of that deficit. And yet the governor has the gall to go around and pretend that everything is fine. This state starts its next budget cycle with an almost $800 million hole because John Lynch didn't have the guts to veto legislation, and John Stephen will after the November 2000. And let us remember why we have a problem. We have a problem because we had a governor that did not have the courage to say no to radical liberals who wanted to spend this state into an income tax. We have, in New Hampshire, in comparison to the other states of this country, been absolutely irresponsible. The National Governors Association reports that other states in their last budget cycle reduced spending by 3%. On top of a reduction of 2.5% in their budget before. And what did our governor accept from the legislature because he didn't have the courage to say veto? He accepted a 10% increase in the last budget and a 17% increase in the budget before that. We have grown 24% when other states have reduced 5%. That is absolute irresponsibility, and he knows he's done November 10th. Now, we're going to hear today from our great nominees for the 4 major offices in the state. And I ask you to understand how important the mechanics of politics are. We have to get our voters out. We need your help. We need you to join with us in the phone calls that are being made out of the victory offices. We need volunteers, 38 days. Talk to the ladies and gentlemen that serve you as the workers at the state committee and schedule a little time or get some friends to come in. It makes a difference. We also need some help in making sure we do what we have to do on absentee ballots. We have a lot of citizens that are very mobile. Make sure we get them a ballot. The absentee process is unbelievably important. There's about 400 people here today. If every one of you got 50 additional absentee ballots, we'd have 20,000 more votes. And I guarantee you with 20,000 votes, we'd clean them all out. Last point, the most powerful weapons in politics are people who are willing to talk about their principles and what we need to accomplish. We need you to talk to your friends and to your neighbors and the folks really far down the street as well. Nothing will be more important in the next 38 days than you communicating to those that you know, to those that you can reach, to those that respect you, that we have a responsibility on November 2nd to cast a ballot for real change. So I ask you and I leave you with the message I've left every gathering in this state for the last 20 months. When you get out there, talk, 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 talk. Thank you all very, very much.